Hi everyone, Ryan here from Fight Game Analysis, and today we are going to be talking about the upcoming fight between Edgar Berlanga and Steve Rolls. But before we jump into that, if you've been enjoying the content, please go ahead and click on the like button and also subscribe to the channel. Really appreciate your support. Alright, so we've got a fight coming up here March 19th, Edward Berlanga versus Steve Rolls. Now, Edward Berlanga is a hot prospect at 168 pounds. His first 16 fights ended by first round knockouts. 16-0. 16 knockouts, all first round knockouts. Man, now you start racking up numbers like that, and needless to say, you're going to draw attention. Right? People are just going to come and they're going to be like, what is this guy doing? Immediately draw a comparison to guys like Mike Tyson and just some of the most ferocious punchers that the sport has ever seen when you start to put up numbers like that. All right? You got to look at the tape and you got to ask yourself, what's this guy doing? How's he getting all these crazy knockouts? Is it the speed and the precision? Is it the accuracy of his punching? Is it his superior technique? Is he fighting a bunch of fifth graders? Is his power actually really, truly legit? Like, what is it? And when you look at those fights with Berlanga, you can see right away, like, his power is 100% there. He's one of those guys. Andre Ward has said it in multiple fights. He's one of these guys that doesn't have to throw hard to land hard. He goes out there and he looks like he's throwing the shots, but he's not super explosive. His hands aren't super fast. He's not doing something that's just making you take your breath away with what he's doing. Yet at the same time, when no shots land, man, they are thudding. And he is out there and he is just hammering on these guys, right? Just one after another, particularly with that left hook. Goes well to the body with it, goes well upstairs. And he is basically like the Terminator in some ways, right? He just comes out there and he's just going straight forward. Not a whole lot of regard for defense. He's got his hands up, but basically he's just coming forward and he's saying that I'm going to do what I want to do. All 16 of these fights, comes out there, just lands ferocious shots and gets him out. Then he steps up his competition a little bit. Just a little bit against Damon. Drops the man 4 times, but he can't get him out of there. Scheduled to go 8 rounds, goes all 8 rounds, gets the decision victory. Right? Gets the 4 knockdowns, super impressive, but he couldn't get the man out of there. First time that we saw that. And let's be honest with each other, in that fight, he was getting caught with some shots. We saw that when he couldn't get the guy out of there, that he became a little bit repetitive in what he was doing with his offense. He was getting caught with some jabs. He was getting caught going to the body a little bit. Right? He was showing that he didn't cut off the ring all that well, and he was following his man around a little bit. Okay, but he's still a young guy, still a prospect. We can understand that we're going to see some of those things that he's going to need to grow. I mean, up until then, we had never even seen him get instructions in between the first and second round. All right, so you got to give the man got to cut him a little bit of slack. Then we see him going with this last fight against Caceres, and we saw a lot more of his problems become exposed in that fight. We still saw the same things, that when a man moves, when he's not a sitting target, it's a little bit harder for Berlanga to get his shots off. We saw that he was there to be countered, particularly in the 9th round. Caceres came over the top beautifully. He probably thought that was going to be a jab, but Berlanga comes in with that left hook. He's able to land it. Not able to land it with full power, but Caceres is able to come over the top with that right hand and drops him. Follows up a little bit, catches him with another right hand later in the round, hurts him. Dude, Berlanga was lucky that was at the end of the round. He was able to recover. He was able to get the decision victory in that fight. But make no mistake about it, he got dropped and then he got hurt later in one of those exchanges. Like he looked, I don't know if he got a little bit lazy towards the end of the fight. I don't know if he got a little bit tired. Again, he wasn't used to that type of competition. He wasn't used to being able to crack guys and have them not go away. So that's all part of a learning experience for a young fighter. Look, I like the progression. I thought that he was a little bit more raw, a little bit more wild earlier in his fights. I thought his punches weren't quite as crisp. But particularly these last couple fights, man, I thought we were seeing a lot of progress. I really like what I'm seeing with the guy. So I think he's on the right track. I just think that because of those first 16 fights, the hype has got ahead of him a little bit. Right? So people are already talking about him. Mickey Bay's out here talking about he's going to be ready for Canelo and Benavidez in like 18 months. And I'm not willing to say that. As much as I like Berlanga, as much as I think he's got a very bright future, as much as I think he is this hot prospect and he's not a top 5 guy yet. So people who are talking about him like that are doing him in a little bit of a disservice because his ring IQ isn't there. There are skills that he's going to need before he's going to be able to fight guys at the very top of the division. He's just not there yet, but He's got a very good trainer, Andre Rozier. I think that he's making progress in these last 2 fights, particularly, even though they were a little bit more difficult and he got dropped. That is not the end of the world by any means. So I'm really looking forward to what he brings in this fight. I think he's going to continue to look better. I think his punches are going to be more crisp. That last fight against Caceres, he worked the jab a lot better. I'm interested to see him use the jab a little bit differently. Every time in that last fight, it was just a power jab. Boom, boom, boom. Everything he does is with just bad intentions in this power. Set up your shots a little bit. Use a little bit more feints. Come in and throw some off-speed punches and change it up. I think sometimes he goes to the left hook a little bit much. So it'll be interesting to see him grow. He's only 24 years old. He's still got a lot of time in front of him. We're continuing to work with a world-class trainer. You have to figure that it's going to yield good results. So I'm really interested to see what this fight brings. And look, let's be honest with each other. He's going to win this fight, right? I'm not even going to go. I'll talk about Steve Rolls just for a minute. 37 years old. Majority of his fights have been in Canada. He was only at Madison Square Garden one other time. It's when he got knocked out by Triple G. Now here he's coming back to Madison Square Garden as the sacrificial lamb. Everybody is going to expect Berlanga to get this guy out of here. Vegas has him at like a minus 1,600, minus 1,700 type odds. Not a big secret what we expect to happen in this fight. I don't expect it to go the distance. Probably going to get him out of there in maybe, 5-6 rounds, if that. Like I said, I expect Berlanga to continue to improve. I expect him to come out here and look the best that he's looked, even though he's going in there against a fighter who's better than some of his past competition. I just think he's going to come out there and look good. And, these past 2 fights have been part of the learning experience, right? I'm interested to see what he puts up, what he says in that post-fight interview afterwards, who he's talking about fighting next, and just kind of what's on the horizon for him, man. Hot young prospect. It's fast. It's really interesting to watch these guys. Really entertaining to see what they do. So let me know what you guys think. Are you as excited about Berlanga and his prospects and what he brings to the table as I am? Do you think he's still got some flaws that he needs to work out, or am I a little off base? A veteran like Mickey Bay knows exactly what he's talking about, and this guy really will be ready for the top of the division in about 18 months. Let me know what you guys think.